Hey guys, what is up? My name is Burb, and I'm back today with it. No, I can't do it. I can't do YouTuber voice. I'm sorry. I don't know how they do it. I'll try again later, but yeah, it's weird. Don't like that. Yeah, hi guys. My name is Burb, and welcome back to another video. Now, in this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into Call of Duty. So as you can see, it's episode 2 of my What's Wrong with Video Game series. And I kind of want to take a look at what I like to call the COD player mentality and try and highlight that maybe Modern Warfare 2 isn't as bad as people are making it out to be. Once again, all of this is my own personal opinion. I'm not a pro gamer. I'm not, someone who is competing at the top level and in the highest skill bracket. I'm just a normal guy who spends way too much time playing video games. And kind of what I'm looking at doing with this series and this video is kind of like looking at video games as a whole and trying to like actually isolate the problem of what's going on with video games, whether it be burnout or whether it be something a little bit deeper. So to get it all started, I just kind of want to go over my personal history with Call of Duty as a franchise, just right off the bat, so we can get the idea of the kind of player that I am. I started playing Call of Duty around the time of Call of Duty 4, the original Modern Warfare one. I can't remember the exact date it came out. It was like 07, something like that. This was, I was at school and a load of my friends were like, "How are you not playing Call of Duty yet?" So naturally, I bought it that week, and away we went, and the rest is history. Now, I probably carried on playing them. I want to say up until about Black Ops 2, and then it kind of like dipped off for me. And I kind of just like dipped my toes into a couple. I played a little bit of most of them, but I didn't own many after that up until the re-release of Modern Warfare, which is in 2019. So that's just my own brief personal history with the franchise. So you kind of get the idea of I've been playing them for years. I just don't buy them every year, and I think this is where, if you like, my healthier relationship comes with Call of Duty. But we'll deep dive into a variety of topics throughout the video anyway. So first things first, I wanna get this out of the way. I'm not standing up for Activision. I don't like Activision as a company. I do think they make a lot of, shall we say, questionable decisions about what they do with their franchises and things of that nature. I'm just trying to see it from both sides. I do this in a lot of different topics, whether it be fucking politics, movies, games, identity, whatever you like. I always like to get both sides of an argument before formulating my decision. Is how I was kind of brought up to think, and I've kind of tried to bring this, into my current life. So I want to start out with Modern Warfare 2, and we'll just get this out of the way now of skill-based matchmaking, or SBMM. Now, I've said before in the previous Destiny episode, which will be in the description below, as well as on the end card if you did want to check that out, I don't think skill-based matchmaking is as bad as people make it out to be, but once again, it kind of deserves its own video, so if you want me to talk about it in depth sooner rather than later, obviously just let me know in the comments below. But in the main argument I kind of see about Call of Duty and its skill-based matchmaking is I can't play with my friends because the matchmaker is too harsh. And I don't know, maybe this is a me thing once again, but like in the background gameplay, you're gonna see me, funnily enough, playing with a few friends, primarily Shumbles, who I do a lot of the Destiny stuff with, or Rotate McRotate, as well as Keen Thriker, or I might just refer to him as Oakley. Now, to kind of put it in comparison of like our stats, if KD and shit actually means anything anymore, I sit on average somewhere between a 1.1 and a 1.3, and that's in like most games, not just this one. Don't get me wrong, I have my moments where I'm sure you have, which you could argue is down to the algorithm of hitting a fucking 8 KD game, and my friends be like, how the fuck did you just do that? And I was like, I've got literally no idea. They just don't seem to be able to kill me. Now, in contrast, Shumbles is probably like the middle of us, and he sits around, I want to say, a zero point 0.8 to a 1, which I believe is the average. Believe it or not, I think it's the average for most players. And then we've got Oakley, who has a big thing of telling me in a lot of games that he's shite at them, and he sits around a 0.69 KD. Nice. And we queue together regularly. Most of the time, if we're on, one of the other is on as well. That kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, there are games where they'll struggle, or it won't be the best games, but it's like I have those games as well. There's been one of the kind of in jokes that we have, especially with Shumbles, is that if he's having a good game, we're going to lose, because he seems to do really well in like these like high skilled brackets, and then terrible in his own elo. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So like, you can see me queuing here with my friends, and we're doing fine. And this is like, this isn't me specifically searching for the correct game to prove my point. I just want to make that perfectly clear. All I'm doing here is just hitting record, and whatever happens happens. Now, I think on this particular day we did lose quite a few games, but we didn't care. We still had fun. And once again, maybe I'm not in the skill bracket where this really takes effect, but like I say, I just don't see it. And I'm not saying that these fucking high skill players or whatever are lying about it. I do believe that it's a thing, but I don't see it as this huge epic problem that everyone talks about, if that makes any kind of sense. Now, along the sort of same sort of lines that we have with this is, I can't run. I have to run meta weapons. I can't run the guns that I want to run, or run guns for fun, because I'm just gonna get shit on, and I'm just not gonna have a good time. So, okay. Most of the guns in this game, contrary to popular belief, are actually quite strong. It just depends on how you use them, is the way I like to look at it. So, I'm not going to hold a long lane with a fucking SMG. I'm going to use a sniper, an auto rifle, that kind of thing. But, like I say, most of these lobbies where I'm playing, with Shumbles and with Oakley and, the kind of just my friends that way, most of the games, Shumbles is running the Magnum, or the Basilisk, I think it's called in game, and he's normally got the snub nose variation, and he's trying to outdo his personal best of long shots, which I think at the moment is something like 55 meters or something stupid like that. I've seen the clip, you can't even see the guy on the fucking screen. But if he can do that in any lobby he goes in, maybe it doesn't matter. I feel like that's a really controversial thing to say, but I think I touched on the matter in my Destiny video as well, and there's this big hang up that gamers and players of like any community have of, I need to run the meta guns, and I need to win every game, and I need to do this. And it's like, okay, just for the record, you do you. If that's truly how you have fun playing the game, I'm not knocking it. Knock yourself out. Whatever you want to do to have fun, fair enough. But this argument of, I can't use other guns because I'll have a bad time, I don't understand. Like, don't get me wrong, you'll have bad games, but it's like, I can be running around with the TAC 56 or the Vaznev or the MP5 and still have a bad game. So I don't get the argument. If I can play with a dude who's challenging snipers with a fucking revolver and having fun with it, it doesn't, I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to get. It once again comes down to sort of like my main point with these videos of, if any game at any point makes you that angry or that sad or you're just not enjoying it, either take a break or just don't play it and just play something else. You don't have to only play one game all the time, especially if it's making you miserable. And I feel like I shouldn't have to have this kind of conversation with people, but I think some people do need to hear it. Of it's okay to play other things. Like, I play a lot of shooting games, and it's probably what I spend most of my time on in one form or another. Whether it be this, Destiny 2, play a lot of Valorant, Rainbow Six. I've got a lot of hours in shooter games, but then there's other days where I'm just not feeling it, and I'll boot the Xbox up and I'll sit on FIFA, or I'll go for some kind of stupid fucking world domination god complex vibe and sit and play Civ because it's fun. And once again, I think this is what we're forgetting as gamers, guys. We're meant to be having fun. And if you're not having fun, it might be because of the skill-based matchmaker. It might be because you have to run the meta weapons. But if you're not having fun with it, just don't play it. And the next point I kind of wanted to touch upon, which kind of fits into this whole skill-based matchmaking and playstyle thing, is the time to kill in Call of Duty. I'll probably just refer to it as the TTK from now on. And with this seems to be the topic of everybody in Modern Warfare 2, or at least a lot of the people I see discussing it. The argument is always that it's way too fast. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about this one. Like, don't get me wrong. Call of Duty it does have a fast time to kill. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but a lot of the arguments I see is that it needs to be slower. Now, this might come from the majority of my, especially on my PC gaming side of things, it's come from tactical shooters where, you show a fucking pixel of yourself at slightly the wrong angle and that's it. The round's over. You've lost your brains. So when I see a game that has, with most guns, I want to say around a 3 to 4 bullet to kill. Like, you fire those bullets quickly, but it's a 3 to 4 bullet time to kill. And it's just not that fast compared to what I'm used to. Like I say, this might just be my own background thing. Like, this might be fast for Call of Duty players, but I don't know. I don't see it as that bad. It still feels relatively arcadey to me. The overall speed of the game still feels fine to me. Like, I understand that it's slower than 2019, but I'm going to get into movement and shortly anyway. But yeah, like I say, I play a lot of tac shooters, and this is relatively quick, and the time to kill is nowhere near as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, you can still get insta-killed by a shotgun or a sniper, but that's kind of what they were designed to do. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it is just me. But like I said, I don't see it. I still have fun. I don't think it's that bad. There's actually more times where, especially if I'm challenging someone at just outside of a weapon's effective range, it feels like I can empty an entire fucking mag into them and they'll just run away like it's nothing. I don't know if they're running stems or whatever, but it's not the end of the world. I don't get it. Once again, if you really don't like it, especially with Call of Duty, it's still doing the whole annual release thing, and you typically get a beta around summery, September-y kind of time. That'll give you a really good feel for what the game's going to play like. And if you don't like it, just don't buy it. Don't play it. The best example I've got with this is the beta for 2019 came out. I tried it and I was like, yeah, feels like COD, and I bought it and I played it for a few years. And now, when I know they're probably bad examples, I know they're not, revered, but Cold War and Vanguard came out in the gap between Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. And I tried the beta for both of these because at the end of the day, it's free, it's there, I'll give it a go. And I didn't like them. I didn't like the way they feel. I didn't like the guns. I didn't like the audio. I didn't like the movement in it. Funnily enough, I think it was, I want to say, Cold War, where before they toned it down, there was those clips of people on fucking sand dunes sliding and jumping like 30 feet in the air, and it's like, nah, I'm not about that. That's not okay. And I just couldn't be arsed with it, so I didn't buy them. And then Modern Warfare 2 rolls around. I tried the beta and I was like, yep, this feels like 2019, but with the no slide cancelling. Sick. And I bought it and I'm still playing it now. See, yeah, you don't have to buy every one. Like, I know there's if you like, a kind of favoritism between multiple studios. Like, certain people prefer Treyarch games, some people prefer like Infinity Ward games. And if that's really the case, just don't buy the new one, right? Maybe does that make any sense? I feel like I'm in the minority when I'm saying something like that, but it's like, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy the new one. It really doesn't matter. Kind of in line with the time to kill argument is, I've seen quite a few complaints that the time to kill is short, therefore, the time to kill is short and the movement speed is slow, therefore it's catering to this kind of like campy or sentinel kind of play style. Okay, first things first, you play the game however you want. It doesn't matter. If I don't have fun sitting in a corner with a shotgun, but if that's where you get your kicks, and who am I to tell you otherwise? But, and this is the big but, the time to kill and the movement of the game has nothing to do with you dying to the camper that sat in the corner for 10 minutes. And I want to make this really clear, and a lot of you aren't going to like this. If you die to a camper in Call of Duty, it is your fault. Let me just repeat that again, just for the people in the back who might not have heard. If you die to a camper in Call of Duty, it is your fault. It's not the game's fault. It's not the coding's fault. It's not netcode errors. It's not. I mean, it can be, but it's not anything like that. It is your fault. You have more than enough ways in terms of utility, pre-firing, checking your corners to clear the camper out before you push into that space. In my own personal experience, the way I like to deal with them is, and I don't see a lot of people talking about these, I use snapshot grenades quite a lot. In like most of the footage you'll see in the background, the thing I use the most is the snapshot grenade, because especially coming from a tac shooter background, I have a piece of utility that if I throw into a room gives me wall hacks. Why wouldn't I take those? Like, obviously, flashbangs and stuns and are still strong in their own right. But it's like, if I know where you are, I'm going to use that to my advantage. So it's like, once I've used the snapshot and I know where somebody is, I can throw a grenade, I can use a drill charge, I can jump peek the corner, I can pre-fire the corner. Once I know where the enemy player is, it's a huge advantage. And you've got all of that utility to flush the camper out. Now, don't get me wrong, you might die to a claymore, or you might just not be quick enough off the draw. They might hit their shots better than you hit your shots. But that's not the game's fault. Especially if you're dying to the same camper in the same room multiple times. It gets to a point of, if it's annoying you that much, just cut your losses. You don't have to challenge the camper in the room. Obviously, it might be different in search and destroy game modes. I don't play those kind of ones. This is my, I say relaxing. This is kind of my chill arcade style shooter that I don't really think about too much. So that's kind of what I use this game for. So I don't really go into like S&D. I play a lot of TDM, kill confirmed, hardpoint, and domination. It's pretty much all I play in this. So, like I say, I'm not going to talk about S&D and those kind of game modes because I don't play them, and it's just not in my area of expertise at all. In a similar sort of line, we now need to talk about movement. So, along with campers and the games. Oh, the game helps the camper out all the time, and it's for dads who want to sit on their 65-inch TV with their controller. It's like, okay, they're allowed to do that just for the record. But when slide cancelling got removed from Call of Duty, so for those of you who don't know, slide cancelling was essentially a piece of quote unquote movement tech. It was an exploit, but movement tech, where if you slid, you could essentially infinitely refresh your tac sprint, so you could move quicker all the time. Because I think tac sprint is like, I want to say 30% faster than normal sprint. Activision came out and went, yeah, it wasn't ever meant to be in the game. It is an exploit. Our bad. We fixed it. You can't do it anymore. And fuck me, people were angry, like so angry that they couldn't do this slide cancelling shite anymore. And I don't get it. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go out of my way to learn how to do it or to do it or whatever. There might have been times in older, like the old Modern Warfare, where I've done it and not realized. So to me, it doesn't matter. But it was an exploit, guys. It wasn't meant to be in the game. And in the nicest possible way, get the fuck over it. Like, if you know that like scene from Spider-Man where you've got he's talking to Tony Stark and he's like, oh, if you're nothing without the suit, then maybe you shouldn't have it. That right now, if you are nothing without slide cancelling, maybe you shouldn't have it. If you can slide cancel and you're fucking shaking your camera everywhere and you're trying to you break the enemy's ankles kind of thing, if you do all of that and still get shot, I have no sympathy for you. It's not the game's fault. It's not the enemy player's fault. They just shot you better than you shot them because you're doing all this fucking about with your sprinting and your camera and your sliding and your hopping, and they just shot you. Get over it. Oh, sorry. It's one of these things that does make me laugh because I don't know. Maybe it's because I guess I'm like a slightly maturer gamer. Maybe that's what it is. I'm 30, by the way, so I'm not that old, I hope. But I don't know. Like, just hit your shots. It's the same with this. Yeah, once slide cancelling got removed, now everybody moved on to the next thing, and they're doing this fucking snaking bollocks where you like dipping your head in and out of cover so the enemy can't really see you but you can see them, and like nah, I can't be arsed. I'm just gonna hold the angle and shoot the guy when he walks in the door, and if he gets Pika's advantage and shoots me first, then all credit to him. I can't be arsed, guys, to be pissing about with all that. I just want to shoot my gun. Just learn how to aim. Like, if you spend the amount of time you spent learning how to do all this movement shit as you did just learning how to fire your gun, you'd probably be a better player. But that's my opinion. And kind of on a similar boat, I need to bring something like Titanfall 2 into the equation, right? So in Titanfall 2, you had arguably the best shooter that nobody plays. Granted, it's down to EA's crappy scheduling and their shit marketing of the game, but you all say that you want movement shooters, right? When Titanfall 2 came out, none of you played it. Now, I know this can maybe dip into the point of it came at a bad time, because I think people were getting sick of, like, quote, jetpack shooters, and they didn't want war running, they want boots on the ground. But, like, you can't want boots on the ground and then be like, oh, my movement's been taken away. What the fuck do you want? Do you want to be able to slide cancel and jump about and wall run and grapple hawk, or do you want to be a military man and run around the corner and throw the grenade and do the fucking ooh shit? What do you want? Seriously. And I don't know. For me, if people truly wanted a movement shooter, Titanfall 2 would be still going and would be still be, well, I say still going. It is still going, but way bigger than what it actually is. Like in Titanfall 2, you've got a game where the movement is insanely fast. It's fluid. The maps are designed for it. almost everything about Titanfall 2 is fantastic, but you didn't want it because you wanted boots on the ground, and now it's more boots on the ground than ever. You're like, well, what's happening to my movement? Now, come on, I hate to be the one to say it, but it's a bullshit excuse. It really is. It really is poor. I think what this all comes down to in the end is, and once again, I hate to be the guy to say it, and a lot of you might disagree with this, but this is my opinion. Call of Duty is not and will never be competitive. It's not. It's really not. It's meant to be arcadey and dumb and ridiculous, and it's not. I'm sorry, it's not competitive in any way, shape, or form. So, just in the background, I'm just gonna put a clip to kind of like cement my argument a little bit more of why I don't believe that Call of Duty is a competitive title, and it's just showcasing the differences between what's available in the CDL or the Call of Duty League and the ranked player list to what's available in everything else. So, just getting started, I think the only time I've ever tried it, I used the AK-47 because it was a gun that I liked, and I think now it's been banned. Yeah, you see the little red triangle, so it's been banned. I can't use it anymore. And I couldn't for the life of me work out why. And then I think I saw somebody say, "Oh, the pros have GA'd it or banned it because potentially it can two-tap to the head at any distance." Like, okay, if you're good enough as a player to consistently two-tap to the head with the AK-47, you should be rewarded for it. Why are you scared of going up against this gun? Like, at least the way I've typically had them sell, I play on mouse and keyboard, so like recoil to me isn't normally an issue. But if you can hit those kind of shots, good on you. Go for it. Like, why are you banning this shit? I feel like it'd be me in Valorant going, I'm gonna ban the operator because, especially when it first came out, it can one tap anywhere at any time. When you ban it, you just play around it. And then it's the same with half of your tacticals and half of your lethals. Nah, ban it. Like, when this game came out, it had, I want to say, 51 guns at launch across a variety of different archetypes, and we've limited it down to like what, a few auto rifles, a few SMGs, and like two of the snipers. Like, what? Why? Like, I think out of the sidearms you can only have one, and I'm guessing it's because the other sidearms will one tap to the head. So does it matter really? I'm sorry, like, if you have to remove 90% of the content of your game in order for it to be quote unquote competitive, it's not a competitive game. It's really not. Just stop. I understand, that there is a market for the competitive scene and the CDL, and all that kind of jazz, but it's not for me, guys. I just think if you have to jump through that many loopholes in order to make your game competitive, it probably, yeah, I'm just gonna stick with that. Now, as we're getting towards the end of the video, I have just got a couple more points that I want to make. As I've kind of reiterated, I don't like Activision as a company, so I do feel like we need to discuss this. So, for those of you who don't know, for some of the older titles like your Black Ops 2s and your Modern Warfare 3s, there were some, if you like, I don't know, I guess I call them like a modded server that would allow you to run these older games in a safe environment. And recently Activision has been sending out cease and desist to shut these servers down, and obviously the players are furious. Now, for the record, I'm on the player's side for this. I completely understand why you would be pissed that this happened. I don't agree with the decision at all. At the end of the day, if these people want to go and play these older servers, fair enough. You should absolutely have the capability to do that. Because I know with a lot of the older games, and I think it's now happening in like Cold War and things like that, where they're not becoming safe places to play because it's full of hackers, it's full of people that will like steal your IP addresses and shit like that. And I get it. However, and I'm sorry to have to say this, doesn't surprise me. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't agree with what they did, but I do understand why they did it, or at least I see why they did it. I can see it as it doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form that they did it. I don't like it, but as soon as it got announced, I was like, oh, that's a shame. Yeah, it was only a matter of time, really. That was kind of like my reaction to it. And don't wrong, once again, you have every right to be angry. It's not an okay thing to do, especially if the older games don't run. Well, they run, but if they're not safe for you to play, you should be allowed to play these like modded servers. I think you did need to own a copy of the game to play them anyway. So, yeah, I don't agree with that one. But once again, it really doesn't surprise me. I If I had to take a guess, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm not like that fucking 12-year-old you played with who's all like, oh, my dad's Bill Gates or anything like that. If I had to guess, I would say that they're getting ready for the Microsoft acquisition to go through, and they're going to put the older ones on Game Pass. That's the only reason I can think they'd have for doing it, other than just being a dick. But yeah, once again, I don't like that they did it, but I do see why they did. Kind of in some similar sort of controversies, you've kind of got to look at microtransactions when it comes to Call of Duty. Now, when it comes to microtransactions in video games, anyway, I'm very numb to it, especially now. As far as I'm concerned, if it's cosmetic only, knock yourself out. If it makes that player who buys that bundle happy, feel free. And I know this has been a very sort of controversial thing. Like, Activision spends more time on bundles than they do fixing the game, and I can see where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, if it's making them money, they're not going to stop. Annoyingly, the best thing you can do in this kind of scenario is, if you truly don't agree with it, just don't engage with it. Don't give them your money, essentially. Yeah, Activision as a company is the kind of place it's always going to respond to money. So the only way you can essentially effectively make your point is by not buying the microtransactions. Don't buy the bundles. Don't buy the battle passes. And that's the only way I can realistically say that you're going to be able to pull that off. Now, in relation to that, we've kind of got a couple of things. One of them I don't care about, and one of them I don't agree with. So the one I don't care about is the YouTuber skins. A lot of people have been complaining that Tim the Tatman and Nitmerks have been given skins in the game, and there's lots of, oh, why haven't you put in insert fucking influencer's name here or whatever. Now, if you don't like it, don't buy it, is kind of all I can say about this one. I'm just kind of just showing you what they look like in the background footage here. But honestly, if you don't like it, just don't buy it. Does it affect you in any way, shape, or form if somebody wants to buy a fucking Tim the Tatman skin and run around with a Kevin on the back and a custom M4? I'm going to spoil it for you. It doesn't. Like, you might not like it, and you don't have to like it. Shit up. Don't buy it. Problem solved. I don't get the outrage. At the end of the day, they are two, let's be honest, very large streamers who did play shit tons of the game before Modern Warfare 2. And of course, you know, Activision wants to touch back into that viewership, so they gave them skins. All right, cool, good on them. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Is kind of all I can say about that one. You know, kicking off at the streamer and say, "Oh, you don't even play the game." So it doesn't matter. You're getting so irate about the wrong thing. You know, most of the content creators I see who talk about COD fucking hate the game anyway. So why would they put them in it? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Tim or Nick might, you know, like or dislike the game. They might just tear around and go, "Oh, you know, it's not great, it's not bad, but okay, they got a skin. Cool, get over it. It really doesn't matter." But in the same kind of note, what I do want to discuss is the DMZ bundles that you do get in the store. Now, as you can see, I'm just showing the Ghost one. Ghost one here that, if you buy this operator bundle, you get an extra operator slot. I don't play DMZ, so I don't really know what that means, but I've seen ones that come with UAVs and things like that, and it's like, nah, that's not okay. That's kind of where I draw the line. You can't be putting that shit in your game. It might not be a huge advantage, but if you buying a bundle gives you an advantage in any way, not okay. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. Don't do it. It's as simple as that. Like, when these things are cosmetics, you as the player have complete control of if you want to engage with that side of things. If you want to look like that, if you want your guns to shoot fucking lasers or whatever. But when you start bringing in like bundles that give you advantages in certain game modes, nah, not about that. Not at all. It's not okay at all. Anyway, as we head towards the end of the video now, I kind of want to sort of finalize my thoughts. And like I say, I think especially with a company like Activision, they're going to respond to money more than anything else. So I kind of want to summarize everything we've talked about here. Is like, when the beta for the new Call of Duty drops, try it and then ask yourself sort of two questions. Am I having fun? Can I see myself enjoying this game without getting frustrated for long periods of time? If the answer to any of those questions is no, don't buy it. Seriously, save yourself the mental difficulty and the money and the stress. And if you truly don't think you're going to like it, don't buy it. It might be that, later on down the line, they might release a patch and then they might, fix the issues you had with the game originally. Excellent. If that's the case, buy the game then. But stop buying Call of Duty every year if you're not going to enjoy it, guys. Please, I think the common statement is you should vote with your wallet, and this is one of those scenarios that you absolutely should. If you do not like that year's game, just don't buy it. Like, I know you've got some of the risks with the older ones now, with like Cold War and things, where it's fucking running rampant with hackers, but I could still play Modern Warfare 2019 now if I wanted to, and that's kind of my point of, hopefully they do get around to patching their security holes or whatever, but at least for a couple of years you don't have to buy the newest shiniest one, because if it's not going to bring you enjoyment, just don't do it. And I want people to really think long and hard about whether or not these kind of game franchises, because the same thing applies with Destiny 2 in episode 1, if the game doesn't bring you happiness, just stop playing it. It's not worth getting frustrated about. It's meant to be a game, and if you're not enjoying it, just don't play it. Anyway, that about wraps up this video. I tried to keep it shorter than the first one, but here we are. Do you agree with anything that I'm saying? Do you think I'm full of shit? Honestly, just let me know. The reason I'm making these videos is to open up this kind of discussion. I'm always interested to hear what people of both sides have to say. So yeah, just leave me a comment, hit me up on Twitter, whatever it is you want to do, and just let me know anything. Obviously, if you do want more content like this, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be doing my best to keep this a regular thing, and I'm a pretty opinionated prick, so I've normally got something to talk about. So once again, thanks for all your support, and I will catch you in the next one.